Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Imagine Slagharen. Now, I already predicted it, but we've gotten our final assignment for this competition. In this episode, or in this week, we will have to recreate the coaster Gold Rush. Now, actually, the assignment that we got is that we have to recreate the station of Gold Rush, and we don't have to really accurately recreate the track layout of the coaster. I think this was mostly done for the people who play games other than Planet Coaster, and that it will be easier for them to recreate it in a week. But yeah, I plan on actually recreating the coaster layout for Gold Rush in quite an accurate way. Well, let's quickly take a look at the layout of the coaster. Okay, so here we have Gold Rush. Now it may be a little bit tricky to see everything from these pictures, but yeah, I'll try to explain it using this picture. Of course, you can also just look up a video of an on-ride video, and then you can sort of experience the ride for yourself on your screen. But yeah, this building here in the middle, that's the station. From the station, the trains get launched forward under the monorail. So they get launched forward here, partly up this top hat, and then they go backwards. They also get an extra boost while going backwards. Then they go partly into this dive loop here. So it's actually really fun to sit in the back here, because you'll be hanging upside down for 1 or 2 seconds. It's actually my favorite part of the ride. And then after that, you go forwards again through the station for the final launch, up the top hat. And then after that, you go very steeply down into what they call a Sling Loop. Basically it's just a very overbanked turn. At least that's what I will probably approximate it with in Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Then after that there's a camelback here. Then there's another twisted turnaround. Before finally you reach the dive loop again. And then you go back to the station where the train will break. The launch track is actually also used as the brake section. So actually, in reality, the train will overshoot the station once and then go back. But in Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, it's probably easier to just let the train stop in the station. Now, there's several things that are annoying in recreating this layout. Let me see if I can find the map. So yeah, basically, for the map as we have it, I have created it with this path being along one of the axis in which we are building. So the grid really follows these paths. The coaster, however, is built at an angle. Now, I could try to make this station at an angle, also with the launch track at an angle and the building. But I think in the end it will look better if we just have it at a straight angle. And also it will be much easier to do, and it will not require any complicated shoestringing if I do it differently. So what I'm planning to do is simply to rotate this station 45 degrees, so it's in the same direction as the path. So yeah, this station will be the launch track will be going in this direction. And other than that, I will try to keep the layout as similar to how it is now. So the launch will probably go straight like this, with the top hat going in this direction. I will keep this part with the Sling Loop the same. Maybe I'll go diagonal over the station afterwards, because it passes over the station, then goes into this loop. I will have to see how I'm going to do this. I could do it diagonally, or I can just use some curves here. Now after that I will make a helix right over here, over the queue path. And then here finally in the end I will have a dive loop. So yeah, the layout will not look exactly the same, but I will try to make it look as similar as I can get it on the grid of Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Now, I really still want this monorail to go over the launch track here. So what I will probably do is just make a curve in the track, or make it partly diagonal, so that the monorail still passes over the launch track. So yeah, there are some points where I have to deviate from the existing situation, but I think in the end it will be recognizable as Gold Rush. Because when you're trying to recreate a ride in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you will always have to work with the limitations of the game. Anyway, yeah, what I plan to do today is to make the layout of the track, and it's probably its immediate surroundings, plan out some support, stuff like that, also do the monorail, maybe also do some work on the queue, plan out some buildings, and then in the next 2 days I want to work on the supports and on the station of the ride. So yeah, lots of work to do. Now, for this assignment I'm actually working on a modified version of Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And what's different about this version of the game? This version of the game has a version of the Intamin track that actually has inversions and vertical coaster track. So let's quickly build a track. So normally you can go up, but you cannot go vertical with this type of coaster. Now I have enabled the allow arbitrary ride type changes cheat, so we can simply go into a new track type, which is the multi-looping coaster, and this one can actually go vertical. It also has the quarter loop. You can do another quarter loop. So yeah, this track is much more versatile than the original Giga Coaster track. So yeah, you won't find this in the game if you download Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. You need a special version of the game for this, but it is publicly available, and you can probably find it on my Discord if you do a quick search. Okay, I'm just gonna try and figure out how I'm going to make this coaster layout in the space that I have available here, and how I'm going to make it interact with the monorail in a nice way. Because I will probably have to make some curves here. But yeah, I'll figure something out. Alright, now I did take some liberties with the layout here. This is my first iteration. I don't know how much it will still change after this. Maybe a little bit too wide here. Not really sure. But yeah, I might still tweak it later. But for now, this is what I'm going with. So yeah, I'm just going to take it for a ride, see how it performs. Now, as for the coaster cars, for now I will simply use the floorless roller coaster. I might change it later, but yeah, for test purposes, this will be. I think this will be a good type to use. Now it only has one train, so that will be easy. I'm just going to make it brown, and yeah, let's see how it performs. Okay, I think this is not bad at all. Not for a first try, at least. I might I might tweak the colors a little bit just to make a bigger color difference between the monorail and the actual coaster track. Or maybe I'll just modify the monorail track. Cause yeah, right now it looks a bit messy because these two look quite alike. Now I will also have to work in a queue path here somehow. So yeah, what I might do is just now we have another problem here. I cannot extend the monorail here over the path because the chairlift is also in the way here. Okay, this is going to require some thinking. Okay, I've moved the monorail a little bit, and it looks like I have some extra space here. What I think I will do is that I will move this layout a little bit into this direction towards the building here, just so I will have less space to fill in later. I think it will make everything look a little bit nicer here in the end. And I have the space, so why not? Okay, I think this is a much better position for the coaster. Now I think I might actually make the entrance here, or I will do it right over here where it originally was. I will have to see what I do with the placement of the buildings. Of course, I rotated the coaster a little bit, so these buildings will also probably need a new location. Now I believe this is a little building with souvenirs and ride photos. Yeah, this corner originally had the top hat of the coaster, so I'll have to fill it up with something else. Not really sure what I'm going to do with this area over here. And this corner over here, right under the spiral, it has the queue for the coaster. Okay, I'm just gonna try and see if I can lay out a nice queue for the coaster. Okay, now the launch track is actually in sort of in a ditch, because yeah, the track is really at a low height compared to the ground. So normally coasters are a little bit above the ground, but this one's very low. I don't know why it was done. Maybe it has to do with the clearance to the monorail. It's only a few meters. So yeah, I'm not really sure why it was done like that, but it's probably a feature that we will have to recreate. So I'm just going to make it look like the track is in a sort of a ditch. Okay, there's still quite a lot of work to do, but at least I made a nice ditch for the track. Still have to make the station for it and decorate the queue area. And of course I also still want to make some custom supports for this coaster. But yeah, I think for now I will just finish this episode with making some plans here in the queue area. And then I'll do the rest in the upcoming episodes. Alright, this will be it from me for this episode. So, I've built the coaster layout. This is probably going to be the final layout, because once again I started way too late on this entry. So yeah, but I kind of like the layout, and probably it will not get much better than this in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And I think it's still very recognizable as the real Gold Rush. So yeah, I also made the launch track with this typical ditch. Now one thing I'm not really happy with is the texture that we have here, that I used for these rocks here. But oh well, I think I can live with it. Maybe it will look better if we extend it, give it a little bit more irregular shape. I don't know. And other than that, I also made the queue for the ride. I kind of like how it meanders through this area. I put some plants around it, not too many, just to make it look yeah, a little bit desert-y, if that's a word. I put a few plants in between, some grass, and I put these iconic water towers, of course, with the big Gold Rush sign. So yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching me build, and yeah, I'm excited to get to do more in this coaster tomorrow, because there's still a lot to do, and of course mostly the station of the ride, which is the most important thing for the rating in this round. And I really also want to do the custom supports for this ride. Alright, hope you enjoyed watching me build, and I'll see you again in the next episode. See you later.